like this real quick. Nice. All right.
Well, Stormy Daniels is back in the news again, but not for what you think it is. It's nothing to do with Trump or anything like that. She's still doing porn. And she put out an announcement, some requirements that are needed to work with her. And we'll go through it a little bit in this article from XBiz. But before we start, don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, share. Thank you for those tuning in. Thank you for those who have subscribed, like, share on all of our social media platforms. It has been a good, last part of the year. It's been great. We are over 600. Our watch hours on YouTube are well over the halfway point. Hopefully we'll get monetized by next year. We hope for that. Because one thing about this, it costs us money to on these shows. I mean, we need new equipment, and eventually on there. I mean, we've run into issues with some of the software that we've on there. Our Windows won't go further to Windows 11 because of the motherboard we have, so we're gonna have to replace it. But luckily, we have a backup. We have our laptop that we can still edit on. But eventually, I think we have maybe 2 more years on this computer. But let's get into this article. Out of XBiz, Stormy Daniels announces 21 plus talent age requirement for her projects. Stormy Daniels has established a new production policy requiring all performers appearing in her movies or seen to be a minimum age of 21, effective immediately. I have decided not to cast any talent under 21 for sex roles in my movies and scenes anywhere, she said Daniels, who can currently be seen on VH1's hit revival of the early 2000 reality series, The Surreal Life. For 2 decades now, I have witnessed the disturbed pattern of girls coming into the business too young and for the wrong reasons. Then regretted their decisions and trying to move on to other careers only to be shunned and forced to return. And I just want to do what I can in order to prevent that from happening. Daniels, who have been lately directing for Wicked Pictures, joins company head of production Axel Braun in the decision. Braun implementing the same policy in 2013. It is not a popular decision, but it's the right one, Daniels added, pointing out that Braun's ongoing success after making that choice a decade ago. Braun said that back in 2013, he did not expect anyone else to stop shooting performers 18 to 20. It was a crusade, a PR stunt, or a political move, he noted. Just a personal decision dictating by my own feelings and experience, so I obviously understand Stormy and applaud her for taking that step. Daniels elaborated on her choice. We are treated like criminals, but even convicts have work release programs and are allowed to move on and succeed, she explains. It is absurd that a person who has killed someone has a better chance at being forgiven than a porn star. That proof of how skewed society views are about sex. I have a personal experience with multiple times when being turned down for jobs that I'm absolutely the best candidate for, loans for homes that I clearly have the money and requirements for, and of course when I was famously called a liar just because I worked for an adult business. A rep explained for the last remark is a reference to the legal case involving her former lawyer Michael Avenatti, who recently sought to discredit Daniels in court by questioning not only her adult entertainment career, but her lifelong personal interest in the paranormal when she took the witness stand. I could name 100 other times and ways this discriminate happened to me and other sex workers, Daniels added. It is a time for an end. Now, the thing is with Stormy, and I'll tell this straight out. Stormy, you shouldn't have hired Michael Avenatti. He's a crook. He's spending time in jail. This is a guy who tried to blackmail Nike on there. He tried to push on there. Now, whatever reasoning you thought with the former president's situation on there, you have to think you should have gotten you should have talked to other lawyers in similar fields and see what their take on the situation. Now, as far as the part where she says that she's had problems getting loans and stuff like that, that's another issue in itself. And that is coming from the politics of nature. We see, and we discussed this before, with Wells Fargo canceling 2 other porn accounts that belong to porn producers that they haven't done anything illegal. They've done nothing illegal. But for Wells Fargo, they said, oh, it's going to hurt our bottom line. Bottom line for who? These accounts were under their name on there. Now, is it their real name or their porn name? I think they were doing it under their real name. And the thing about it is, I don't think anyone's sitting there looking at that. If the people are looking at that, that's the people you got to worry about. Because that goes back to the Twilight Zone episode. I forgot the name of it, where the guy's sitting there dialing on the phone all day. Said, yeah, you have this particular employee? Well, he's a communist, and you should fire him.
You about a year and a half? Man's a communist. And he should be discharged immediately. Never mind how I know. I just know, that's all. I'm going to check back with you in a few days, and if he's not been discharged, I'm going to take this whole matter to a superior.
And if you don't do that, I'm going to call someone else in your company to make sure that this happens. This is where you get into the racism. You have someone who has a particular job, you dislike that job, but that's their job. They've made a company out of it. They're a production company. You go after the porn today, and then tomorrow you're going to go after the R-rated love movies, which has sex in them. You can stop companies like that, independent firms. You're also doing it to people on the right side of the aisle. If you don't agree with them, you cancel the account. Chase knows that, that they're wrong on that. Now, the other part of it, which in a way I do agree, the 21 and over on there. I think what also they're getting afraid of is what has been going around lately, that basically porn is being chastised and being compared to child pornography, which it's not. Child pornography is illegal. These companies, Wicked Pictures and all the other, they don't deal with that. Now, yes, we can go back and look at the Tracy Lord situation, but you have to remember, she pushed herself into the industry. It was not someone who brought her into the industry. She had a fake ID, which late 70s, I think it was a different time. Fake IDs were a little bit more easier to get because basically, people weren't thinking of that. Today, there are safeguards and all that, and even though you can get around that also in some cases, but they keep changing the technology on the ID itself. But there are more add-ons to it where, some companies are asking for birth certificates. They're asking more proof of age. And there are also other ways of looking up, because you can check the person directly. Unless they change their name, that's the only thing they can do. They can look them up through their social security number and all that and see, what their actual information is. Because I think that's what some of these companies have on there. Now, stopping girls or guys from 18 to 20, you're not going to stop them. They're going to go on OnlyFans, because right now, a lot of them are on OnlyFans. A lot of them are on other sites, independent. They're doing independent stuff, a lot of it now. And you're seeing a lot of small budgeted indie porn houses are cropping up all over the place. Most of them they're on Pornhub, Xvideo, and many others, and they're creating their own sites on top of that. So they're selling their video wares on top. And the thing about it is, the big budgeted stuff like Wicked and VCX and all the rest, are they losing money out of it? Hard to say. They have their fans. And the thing about it is that there's enough to go around for now. Now, the other problem is, and you could discuss this, the stuff that's on TikTok and Instagram, some that's on Twitter, that basically is full-blown out porn, even on YouTube. I just found a couple recently on YouTube. And the thing about it is that some of these sites are not paying attention. Now, Elon is starting to purge a lot of this stuff. I can say for that. Instagram, they're hitting the wrong people. That's the problem. They shut down Pornhub because of the whole situation on there. But Pornhub doesn't put up porn on Instagram. They have the girls dressed in very lingerie things, which a lot of stuff is like that on Facebook, Instagram, and all the other sites. But full-blown porn is on these sites, but they complain about Pornhub, Xvideo, and then X, and a couple others, saying, "Oh, it's child pornography, all this, and that." A lot of these companies don't want that stuff. Now you got to the point where it's 21 and over in some companies. But like I said, I'm okay with that. I'm really okay with that if they want to go that far. And it's okay. You know, maybe it might get these girls to think about it twice. Because you've heard the situation where girls have gone to strip, do adult things that basically, just to pay for college. You've heard these stories before. But the thing is, a lot of times these young girls don't understand the business they're getting into. And that's the most important part. You're getting into a business that basically has some dark elements to it. Not saying any other job don't have a dark element to it, but this, depending on who you're working for, you could fall down a rabbit hole that you may not recover from. You have to be very careful on there. If you want a job in the business, do it right. Get yourself a proper agent. Vet that agent first. Make sure you're not going to get screwed over. And get yourself a lawyer. That's the thing about it. Most people think, why do I need a lawyer? Get yourself a lawyer to protect yourself, to protect your assets, to make sure that you are protected. Whereas if your agent screws you over, you got your lawyer backing you up as well, to make sure you are protected. But like I said, if you're 18, 19, I know it's hard. It's hard to pay for college, but I'll tell you this: I'll give you a better dealing than dealing with college these days. Take a moment, go to trade school. Trade school has some decent prices. Yes, it's not as expensive as college. I mean, it's expensive, but not as expensive as college. And within a year or two, you could be out and working immediately and making a lot more money than what college can offer you. You may say, well, they make more in the porn industry. Depends. It depends. It's like being an actor or an actress in Hollywood. Not everyone is suited for that part of the business. But working with your hands, making something, designing something, that's where the challenge is. That's where the money is. And people don't realize that these days. They want to go in for these social justice college courses, and there are no jobs for that. They're just breeding another activist. That's all they're doing. So tell me in the comments below your thoughts on Stormy. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, share, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you for tuning in, and bye-bye now.